When you type a question into ChatGPT, it may feel like you're talking to something that truly understands you, processes your words like a human would, and responds with clarity, logic, and empathy. But in reality, you're interacting with something fundamentally different, something that doesn't think, feel, or comprehend in any human sense of the word. As soon as you send your prompt, for example, "How does the human eye work?" ChatGPT doesn't think like a scientist. It doesn't consult knowledge or interpret meaning. Instead, it performs a massive calculation to determine which word is most statistically likely to come next in the sentence, based purely on patterns it has seen before during its training. That training wasn't guided by understanding or logic, but by an enormous amount of written language, hundreds of billions of words gathered from books, websites, research papers, conversations, and more. And the goal wasn't comprehension, but prediction, as the model learned to guess the next word over and over again until it became terrifyingly good at it. ChatGPT runs on something called a transformer architecture, introduced in 2017 by researchers at Google in a groundbreaking paper titled "Attention is All You Need," which changed the AI landscape forever by showing that instead of processing text sequentially, a model could look at the entire context at once and weigh every word's relationship to every other word in the input. This self-attention mechanism allows the model to produce text that is coherent, structured, and contextually accurate, at least on the surface, even though it has no awareness of reality, no concept of truth, and no access to meaning as humans experience it, because ChatGPT is not a mind, but a sophisticated statistical engine. GPT models, including the one powering ChatGPT, are trained through unsupervised learning, which means no human ever tells the model what's right or wrong. It simply absorbs patterns from raw data and learns how words tend to follow one another in natural language. So when you ask it to explain a physics principle, it doesn't reason like a physicist. It just replicates the kind of text that appears in textbooks, articles, or forums that were included in its training. The current model, GPT-4, is estimated by experts to contain approximately 1.8 trillion parameters, making it an order of magnitude larger than GPT-3, which had 175 billion parameters. And although OpenAI has never officially confirmed the exact architecture, many believe GPT-4 uses a system called Mixture of Experts, which activates only part of the network for any given request to keep performance efficient. Every single word that ChatGPT generates is the result of a complex calculation that factors in all previous words in the prompt, the weight of each connection in the network, and a probability curve that estimates which word should come next, all happening in fractions of a second inside massive data centers using specialized GPUs. Despite its conversational tone, ChatGPT is not aware of who you are, has no continuous memory of previous interactions, unless enabled, and does not initiate thought. It only extends language forward based on what you've already said, using a temporary context window that can be as long as 128,000 tokens in newer models like GPT-4 Turbo. As of 2025, OpenAI's latest versions support multimodal inputs, meaning they can interpret both text and images, which allows the model to analyze photos or diagrams and generate detailed descriptions or interpretations. Though even here it is not seeing or perceiving in the human sense, only matching patterns learned from massive image-text datasets. After the core model is trained, it undergoes a final phase called reinforcement learning with human feedback, or RLHF, in which human reviewers rank and compare responses to teach the system how to be more helpful, polite, safe, and aligned with user expectations, which plays a huge role in shaping the ChatGPT experience we know today. But no matter how realistic its replies may sound, ChatGPT is not conscious, does not possess beliefs, goals, or emotions, and cannot form an original opinion. It mimics language with astonishing skill, but all it ever does is calculate, predict, and repeat based on examples it has seen before. At its core, ChatGPT is not thinking. It is navigating through an unimaginably vast space of language representations, each word or sentence existing as a vector in a multidimensional mathematical field, and selecting the next point in that space that makes the most statistical sense. Even though it might feel like ChatGPT knows everything, it actually doesn't browse the internet unless specifically granted that ability, and most of its knowledge is frozen in time based on its last major training cycle. which in the case of GPT-4 was primarily limited to data available before September 2023. That's why ChatGPT can sometimes generate information that sounds confident but isn't true, an issue known as hallucination, and why experts constantly warn that while these models are powerful, they must be used responsibly, with fact-checking, skepticism, and an understanding of how they really work. Because even though ChatGPT doesn't think, doesn't feel, and doesn't know what it's doing, the quality of its output, the structure, fluency, and accuracy, has reached a level where it can convincingly replace real human responses in everything from customer support and writing assistance to legal drafting and even medical advice. And maybe that's the point. ChatGPT doesn't need to be human to influence humans. It just needs to be useful, fast, and persuasive enough to become part of our daily thinking, which is already happening at a scale few imagined just a few years ago. We're not entering a future where machines take over our minds. We're entering a future where machines shape our language, and maybe through that they begin to shape us. Subscribe us for more videos.